If you sign your offer letter in sheer happiness without paying much attention to the terms and conditions of that contract, then it can cost you your career and you can find yourself in a very undesirable situation. In your probation, your employer can fire you without any notice or even with a very short notice of a 1 day or maybe 15 days. Again, it depends from company to company. That's why it's so important to read through the terms and conditions of every offer letter, every employment contract that you sign. In today's video, I'm going to guide you through all the know-hows of probation period and how you can successfully pass through that probation period so that you do not have to face any difficult situations. So if that is something that interests you and you want to know more about this thing, then keep on watching. So first, let's understand why probation and what is the duration of probation in various companies. So probation period is defined as a time where company can actually judge your fitment in the job, because interview process is not 100% guarantee that the candidate will be a suitable person for the job, for actual job. Interview is just about the performance of half an hour, 1 hour or 2 hour or maybe 2-3 rounds that the candidate has gone through. So it can be very specific and it can be very limited to certain topics. So that is never 100% assurity of the fitment of the candidate, and specifically in cases of behavioral issues. Obviously, because in interviews everybody wants to portray their best side. Nobody wants to showcase their anger issues, their ego issues, or if they have any commitment issues towards deliverables. So nobody is going to show that. So companies define this period as a period where they can check the fitment of the candidate. So that's why the probation period is kept. And the duration of this probation period can vary from 3 months to 9 months usually. In some companies, it can be 1 year for the profiles which are really senior and which require that much amount of time to check the fitment. So depending on each role, probation can vary. So it's very important that when you get the offer letter, you read through the terms and conditions and specifically what's the duration of probation for your specific role. So now let's see what are the limitations in probation period. In some cases, companies limit their benefits to the employee who is still on probation. For example, people on probation might have lesser number of leaves in comparison to full-time employees who have already crossed their probation period. Or other benefits like allowances are less, or there are no allowances till you clear out your probation. Also, most of the companies do not send their employees on site before they clear their probation. So the opportunities gets limited till you are on your probation period. So now let's understand what you can possibly do from your end to come out as a successful employee from that probation period. And number one on that list is no casual attitude. Keep in mind that everything that you do, your activities, your login time, your log off time, how you interact with others, what kind of email you write to the client, everything is being observed because people are trying to check if you are fit for the role or not. So if you take things casually, do not come on time or log off too early from your time, it can create a very negative impression about you. And especially for fresher, when they join the companies, they are not in a habit of that one-to-one conversation with their managers. So whenever they want to take a leave, they inform their colleagues, somebody they know from the team who is at an equal level, maybe another fresher who got hired. They convey to him that can you please on my behalf tell the manager that I'm not going to come today, maybe I'm sick or something else has happened. Please remember guys, leaves are taken very seriously in the company, because then the manager will have to plan the work accordingly. Then he'll have to assign that work to somebody else because work has to go on, it cannot stop. So try to plan your leaves in advance, and if at all there is an emergency or you are sick, please convey that to your manager yourself. You will have to work on building that rapport that you can very comfortably talk to him what's happening in your life and why today you cannot contribute to the work. So do not take these things casually, because these things get counted, and if they get stacked up, then you get fired from the job. Moving on to point number 2, which is always try to outperform your task, your duties. Initially, it's very important because as everybody says, initial impression lasts forever. So no matter if you try to do hard work later, once you are absorbed inside the company after a year or so, that will not be noticed much. But initially, if you try to take more initiatives, everybody around you will create an impression that you love taking more initiatives and you are open to learning. And when I say outperform your task, you do not have to do something out of the world. Little things makes a huge huge difference. Say for example, your manager gave you some Excel report to make and you did that, and you know that report has to go to a client or maybe to the director level or to somebody in the management, but you know it has to go ahead to somebody. So that means they will need a email brief about the report as well. So what you can do is you can send that Excel sheet to your manager with an email draft, a well written email draft about that report and whatever you want to convey. So this add on really represent that you want to add value to a company, to your manager's work, your team. So always pick on these small things, these little details, and turn them into opportunities. It will benefit you in your career. Moving on to next point, which is always seek or ask help. Do not waste your time in just waiting for the resources to come to you or the right person to come to you for help. Especially applicable for freshers, because mostly they are new, they do not know the know-hows of the company. So whenever they are assigned a work, they just simply quietly accept it, and then they sit idle on their workstations thinking how to do it. I don't know how to do it, maybe somebody will help me on this. Until unless you ask for the help, nobody is going to come to you to help. When your manager assigns you work and you keep quiet and take it, he assumes that you already know how to work on this assignment or project. You will have to open your mouth and tell that you need help, you are not aware how to do this. Saying that you do not know how to do it is okay. It's totally normal. Not everybody comes with all the experience that is required to do the job, to do the project. So it's always beneficial if you open your mouth initially only and ask for the help, because the manager will ask you about the status of that work that he has assigned you, and if it is delayed and you have not started working on it, that it will be a negative point on you, because he will simply say, why didn't you ask? Why did you waste so many days just simply sitting? It is such a negative thing, and then and there you will be labeled as less confident, not fit for the job. Moving on to our fourth point, which is take your onboarding very seriously. If there are some training, some documents that has been assigned by HR or onboarding team to you to complete in some tool or maybe on the mail, complete them on time. They are equally important. If you delay responding to them, then you will be assumed as an ignorant person. That feedback is something you really want to avoid. And again, as I said, if you're delaying just because you do not know how to do it, take help. In fact, go to the person who has assigned it to you, because who can explain it better than them. So take help on time and respond on time. Complete all the tasks that are assigned to you on time. And if there is any delay, either you take help or you communicate the reason for the delay. Moving on to our next point, which is do not assume. Every company has different ways of working. What is acceptable in one company can be offensive in another. So do not try to assume things as per your previous experience. It's always good to ask. Always try to observe, learn what is accepted in that particular company. It's very important. Otherwise, you'll land yourself in trouble for no reason. Moving on to our next point, which is do not argue. This happens a lot with new employees because they are not aware of the full scenario, the past history of any situation, any case. They jump very soon into arguments, maybe with their colleague or maybe with their manager or maybe somebody else in the company, just to prove themselves right, because they have heard some one side story of somebody or some situation. Do not do that. You are yet not fully aware. You are not in a capacity to pass a judgment yet, because you have not seen what has happened in the past. And if you try to be in an argument of a situation or of a case of which you do not have full details, it is such a foolishness to enter into argument for any such thing. So try avoiding these kind of arguments, especially with your manager, because he has hired you to add value to the team. The moment he sees that more than value you are an argument, you are a liability to the team, you are not going to clear out on your probation period and you might have to go. And the final point on the list is do not pass comments, negative remarks about anyone. When you are a new employee, you will find a lot of people, you will meet a lot of people. Some will appear to be more friendly than others. Do not get carried away with their thought process, or do not try to follow or copy whatever they are doing or saying. Use your own brains, and especially when it comes to passing negative remarks for someone, you never know. The person who has triggered you, the same person can go and complain about you that you said this thing about someone. So try to come across as a very neutral person till the time you really think that you have settled and now you know who is who and how people behave around you. So guys, as you saw, most of these points were behavioral, because that's the aspect where people slip in their probation period. And if somebody is let go in their probation period, it's most likely because of their behavioral issues rather than technical issues. Because in 3 months or so, you cannot really judge if a person is a superstar or not. And if you, even if you're average also, managers like investing into pulling up that person by giving them trainings or maybe giving them proper shadow, because they have invested that much time, cost, energy in hiring you. So nobody wants to let you go that easily. They try their best to make you productive and make things work. It's only about that behavioral part, that attitude, which nobody can teach you. So ultimately, these behavioral issues, attitude issues lead you towards a negative feedback. So these are the things that you have to keep in mind, you have to take care of if you want to successfully come out of your probation period. And if for some reason you are not liking the work that has been assigned to you, you are not liking the company, then obviously doors are always open. The probation policy is for both the parties. You can also walk out by giving just a day's notice or 15 days notice. So with that, we came to the end of this video, guys. That was it for today. I hope you derived some value out of this conversation and it helps you somewhere in your career. You keep on watching more content on Corporate Diaries to be corporate ready, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.